For Panthers Fans Only is a sports podcast intended for mature audiences and contains profanity as well as extremely spirited conversation. What you see and hear are the sole opinions and depictions of each individual, not at all inclusive of the entire cast or any guests associated with our show. Thanks for tuning in, and always remember to stand on business.
Ain't that nigga you say you is? I know. You gonna cut this part out?
Tell them Quan. I'm Quan.
Niggas ain't that nigga they say they is.
Is they gonna continue? I told you, bro.
I know.
I told you. I told you what it is. I understand. It's your Super. It was your Super Bowl. Just
Circled
like
in red Sharpie. The game was circled in red Sharpie.
Yeah, I mean, by not me at that.
I know.
So was it my Super Bowl or yours?
I mean, to be honest, I keep telling you that you don't mean shit to me when it comes to that shit. Like, I don't understand what you like. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what part of that you don't understand.
He's
like,
gonna
honestly.
be in, JJ's gonna be in the mood today. He's not doing too hot in fantasy, and he's a little upset.
What happened? For the viewers.
Why is he so loud?
I just want to ask for the viewers what happened.
I clipped him.
What was the score?
Now he
Or
doesn't
matter of
know.
fact, I'm sorry. What was his record? What's his record now on the year in fantasy?
Like 2-4 or something.
Not
Yeah,
doing
2-4. The game he said he had circled in red Sharpie. He told me Monday night after we got done recording. I mean, he spent like 2 hours just telling me how bad he's gonna beat me. He puts in the chat, what did he say? Tavian couldn't get the job done, so he was gonna punch me in my mouth and all this other shit, stare me down in my face and fucking unleash his gun and all types of shit. Then he wakes up Sunday morning and like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you by 70 this week.
I didn't wake
and
up.
I'm like,
I didn't wake up on
like,
Sunday morning and say that. I didn't say that. But go ahead, continue.
What did you say then?
I don't know, but I didn't say
Yes,
that I
you
was going
did.
to beat you by 70. Continue.
You didn't say that?
No.
Do you want to put something on that?
I mean, I just sent you 25. I mean, what more could you possibly want from me?
You sent him 25 for the victory.
I mean, what the fuck else would I be sending him?
I'm
25
just for the viewers. It's for the viewers,
No,
man.
it's
No,
not
I'm
for
just
the
asking
viewers.
questions.
It's for you to continue to beat your dick to it. I already told you jerking your shit off behind.
I mean, I don't give a fuck about that crying shit. I'm gonna beat your ass by 70, like I told you I was gonna do last Monday night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Niggas don't stand on business. Basically, what it is. Believe little of what you hear, but all of what you see.
Okay,
You can go.
I was about to say, are y'all done? Did you have any closing remarks?
No, I just find it entertaining because I got
okay.
the same treatment like 3 weeks prior, and I came and blasted you and your shit. But as outside of like guns blazing and
Why
whatnot,
does he keep saying that? Why does
again outside of guns blazing and whatnot, I got pre-cum. He got so excited when he saw me, it was pre-cum for whatever reason. So, and then I went and blicked him in his shit too. So I mean, it's just it's not been too good for him this season.
I mean,
I did it with Travis Etienne on my roster. One of the most underperforming players of the season.
He had 14.8 that week.
Best week he had.
So it's just like let's not
Best
create
week he
false
had.
narratives, bro. Like, let's just be honest. Like, let's not lie. Like, don't say like I had Travis Etienne. Like, I mean, like the nigga didn't get you 15.
My team wasn't cut. My team's not cut though.
You're not.
And we blicked you.
You're not.
So,
like I said, you're not personally to me. But we made some adjustments. My team does not even look remotely close to the same that you saw.
Well, we also know like your player personnel,
and
like your scouting guy is just not the best.
And we're not going to acknowledge the fact, I guess, that T. Higgins was hurt too that week. We don't want to talk about that.
What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. You're right. Are y'all done?
I mean,
Do we not talk about battling through? I was about to go. Who's hurt on your team?
Just to give context, I had Jonathan Taylor out. Devontae Adams is out due to his situation. And Brian Robinson is out.
Would you say those are 3 starters?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So you were down 3 players, but we're supposed to feel sympathy for him being down T. Higgins.
Yeah, I had Amir Abdullah starting, Wan'Dale Robinson, and I don't even know who else. And a lifeless Amari Cooper in Cleveland because Deshaun Watson is yet to be locked
You say
up.
you don't know who else?
Yeah, I don't know who else.
What that started for you on your team?
Oh, Keenan, DeAndre.
I was about to say you don't. So you don't. See, but that's how I know niggas just get on camera and just get the lying, bro.
What you mean?
Like niggas just get on camera and get the lying. Like I said, that saved you, because you would have had 40+ points on the bench. Because you wouldn't have played them if you had.
DeAndre Swift would have played. He has not played all year. He would have played for sure. He's always been my day 1 starter.
Okay.
Now, Keenan Allen, that's up in the air.
He wouldn't have played.
But then I could have just moved him down for Wan'Dale Robinson, took Wan'Dale out.
But you wouldn't have.
You don't know that.
But you wouldn't have.
Because you also...
Especially after you seen Malik Neighbors was out, you wouldn't have.
You also told me like 2 weeks ago that Wan'Dale Robinson wasn't going to ever start on my team because you was trying to get him off me. Because that's typically what you do. Try to come after my players but say my team is ass.
The thing about it is your hand was forced. I mean, that was pre-Devontae Adams being injured. That was pre you having like 5 injuries to people that can both all go in the flex. But it's okay, bro.
Type shit.
Yeah. I was about to say, are you done?
I'm done.
I just want to let y'all know.
I gave you
this
the
is when I tell y'all.
ago.
This is when I tell y'all like this is like how much importance I hold to these 2 niggas. Is like just simply because I just want y'all to know that Terrence has been talking about this win since 11:30 on Sunday night.
And ask him how long he's been talking about our matchup for a whole fucking week.
Terrence has been talking about this victory since 11:30 last night. He sent like 5 screenshots to our fantasy group chat. Then he sent the screenshot to Dylan.
Yeah,
but I guess he wanted a fucking
giving them
hand job.
Yeah, like
you don't start this shit in the summertime. You start this shit in the summertime before teams are even drafted. No schedule comes out. No teams have been drafted, and yet somehow you got niggas scheduled, or you got niggas circled on your schedule
with a sharp
for whenever you play.
And red.
I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure. Yeah, I'd have had him tell me that he wanted to change the schedule so he could play me on a specific week. That's how much it means to him, being that he's the commissioner of our league and he has the ability to do that. He's attempted to do that before.
I've actually never done that.
Okay, now we're gonna lie, but it's okay.
No,
we can lie for the camera.
I've never done that. I
said attempted. I said you've attempted to.
No, if I would have attempted, then I would have made it happen. I would have done it. Because, nigga, I do what I want in my league, in my shit. I mean, I've shown that on multiple occasions before.
So why don't you win?
Touche. That was good. That was a good one. Welcome to For Panthers Fans Only. If you don't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on that platform, if you're watching on Rumble, thanks for being here. If you're listening or watching on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., thank you for being here. The Carolina Panthers lose by 18, something that we should just get accustomed to. I don't know what makes y'all believe that. I don't know why. Actually, you know what? I'll just save it. Follow us on social media for Panthers Fans Only, FPFO_podcast on X. What else? I think that's all I have for my intro. I don't really give a fuck how you feeling today, to be honest.
That's crazy. Oh, shit.
I
feel great today, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. You feel great when the Panthers lose. That's what I said yesterday. That shit was weird. That was the weirdest thing that you said yesterday. That was the weirdest thing that you said yesterday.
Am I supposed to let them kill my whole move for a whole day? I mean, I've been accustomed to this shit for 2 years now. We won 2 games last year. We won 1 thus far this year. So it would be delusional for you to let them still affect your day when you know they're going to lose.
Well, it still does affect my day.
Well, I hate that for you. You might need to go see somebody.
Maybe. Probably.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Actually, my bad.
I feel great. I feel good. Great Monday. Usually Mondays aren't that good, but it's been a great Monday.
Because you beat JJ, huh?
No.
Increase his whole fucking morale. How are you doing? Quick, man. Quick. Don't drag it,
I'm glad
bro.
you
The
asked,
Yankees
bro. I'm
play in
glad you
15
asked.
minutes. Come on, don't drag it.
I'm feeling you ain't making that shit anyway. You gonna be the one rambling for an hour about this. I'm feeling great, man. You know, it was a brutal weekend. I ain't gonna lie. It was a very brutal weekend. I had to watch. We won't even talk about it. I'm still working through my emotions of that traumatic situation. But it's been great, man. I feel good. Great day at work. You know, got me a little sticker for my efforts in the building, and I appreciate it.
Is he serious?
I mean, yeah, as a heart attack. Which turns out Jim Harbaugh actually had one on the sideline. That's why he got tinted. Was it you? That was when we was watching. Jim Harbaugh he had a heart thing. That's why he got tinted.
He went in there the same time as Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
Crazy.
So, yeah. But other than that, I feel good.
Cool. Good. I'm glad everybody's good and feeling
How do you
great.
feel?
Not the best. I mean, you want me to lie? I will say, I went to Atlanta on Wednesday, had a great week with my uncle. Cigar lounges, poker, alcohol, women for me. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? What else? A lot of Falcons fans, unfortunately, because he's a Falcons fan. But no, I'm not doing the best for more than one reason, but it doesn't really matter.
What are those reasons?
I mean, the Panthers lost and work shit.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like what?
No, I'm
other
just
reason?
asking for the viewers.
No.
I'm just trying to give the viewers context. That's all. You know, I just want.
Yeah,
them,
I mean that's it.
you know.
That's it.
Okay.
I mean, but I will say, like I said, it was a phenomenal experience this weekend. Like I said, I went to Atlanta on Wednesday, and then we drove up from Atlanta to Charlotte. Me and him did. On Saturday afternoon, we did like a little food and alcohol tasting tour of Charlotte, so that was dope.
Is that like an actual like thing that you got to sign up for? Or y'all
Yeah.
just decided to try.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like 4 or 5 different stops, just trying different shit that they had, different alcohol, different food. So that was cool. Watched some college football on Saturday. What else? Went to the cigar lounge, like I said, the joint in the Epicenter, so that was cool. And
Y'all ain't go to 1058?
Nah, we didn't make it. We didn't make it to 1058. We didn't make it to 1058. But we were gonna go last night, Sunday, because TD and them were doing something. He had something like a Atlanta versus Charlotte thing, and it was him and Pastor Troy. So we were gonna pull up there, but then it was just like, nah, because I had the train ride at 6:00 or 6:45, but I had to be there early.
How long is that ride? I need to know for future references.
What
Are you still doing that?
references?
Nah, I'm just.
The shit that I got barred from. Weird shit. It was the same amount of time it took to drive.
Like
Takes to
2.5.
drive. Yeah, like 2.5. I left at 6:45 and arrived at 9:23. So like what, 2:45, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Oh, I forgot to add. I did add a new skill. I got a new badge this weekend. Carpenter. That was pretty interesting. Built a fence. that took all day. Now that's some hard. That reminded me of why I have a desk job. Because everybody who works outside, respect. Because that shit is hard work. But I did feel a sense of accomplishment looking back at it and watching it built. Like, yeah, that was my hands. I did that. It feels good. I'm not gonna lie. There is a nice sense of accomplishment with it. But that shit is also hard work.
That's great, buddy. You want a sticker for that as well?
No,
Hammer
my
sticker?
sticker is the piece that I built. That's my prize.
Okay, cool.
Hating ass.
I mean, you just a second ago you were excited that you got a sticker from work, so I just wanted to see.
I mean,
if
it wasn't a
wanted
real
to-
sticker. It was actually an award for being a good employee. But you know, I just call it a sticker because that's what it reminded me of. It felt like, you know, back in elementary
It
school, the
should.
superstar sticker.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I felt.
It should for sure. I guess we'll get into some Panthers football. I mean, I'm just personally tired of seeing the same shit. I'm tired of seeing the miscommunications in the secondary. Who and really, I mean, it's a problem, and I don't know who to look at. I guess my co-host, he's doing all of those noises and looking at me. He wants me to say EJ's name.
I mean,
which I will.
That's what you said.
Which I will. Well, I did say that via text, didn't I?
Yeah,
I was
you
drunk,
did.
though. I was drunk as hell. Also, if you haven't experienced the Gridiron Club, highly recommend. First time ever this weekend. Shout out Unc. All you can eat food, non-alcoholic drinks. Have your own private bar, your own private seating section, inside like a little theater area, TVs all around, private bathrooms.
I didn't
just
even know
phenomenal.
we had all of that in there.
Bruh, okay, what are the sections in Bank of America Stadium? Like, tell me the sections. You know you can buy tickets, right? Sections 100, 200, right? And what does it go up to?
500?
Okay, and do we have a section 400?
I don't know. Is this supposed to be a trick question?
No, it's not. I never knew we had a section of like 400 section in BOA.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, because I've only really been in like 100, 200. I think I've been in 300 before and 500.
Yeah, club is 300, 500 is the
Well, I haven't
nosebleeds.
been in 300. I've been in 100, 200, and 500.
I never knew that we had a 400. There's a section 400.
Where's
and
it?
It's the clubs. It's the Gridiron Club and all of that shit.
Oh,
I had no idea.
yeah, I didn't know that.
But yeah, highly recommend that. But on going back to the game, because we don't have all night. The Yankees play tonight, and you know I just need to focus my attention elsewhere. But I'm sick and tired of seeing that. Sick and tired of seeing the missed tackles. The defense is just putrid. It's horrible. Transparently, it's very frustrating for me. You know. Especially when I see veteran guys fucking stuff up, like Xavier Woods on the blown coverage. I think that was in the second quarter where Kyle Pitts had his longest catch of the day. Like, it's just very frustrating. Honestly, just the Carolina Panthers as a whole, watching them play football is very frustrating. I will say that. However, thankfully enough, the game was competitive long enough for me to stay engaged all the way up until the fourth quarter. Something else that's very confusing, and we will have a conversation about Dave Canales today because I think that we have to revisit it just because, you know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Dave Canales, how he was growing on us personally on this pot or on this set as well as the fan base overall, whatever the case may be. But when it starts to get frustrating when you see the same thing over and over and over again. And I personally get pissed off when I see dumb things happen. And the dumb thing that happened yesterday or Sunday afternoon was the interception that Andy Dalton threw. Now, there's multiple levels to the interception. A lot of people have pointed out that he should have just checked the ball down, which cool, I understand. Problem number one was the fact that we went away from the run game. And I did watch Dave Canales' press conference after the game where he said when you're running the ball that effective and efficient on a particular drive, that's where you want to take shots. Cool. I'm not mad at that explanation. That's a very professional explanation. That is something that I can live with from an offensive-minded coach, if that's your explanation. Where I get frustrated and where I get pissed off is the fact that you decided to take said shot with Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette both off of the field, your two top wide receivers, and you try to take the shot to Ian Thomas. Now, I said this on Twitter yesterday or Sunday. I honestly don't know what Ian Thomas does well. We've said that multiple times on this podcast. I do not know why he's still a Carolina Panther. Sunday was just another example of that. It was. He's mid, bro.
Yeah, he's sorry terrible as hell. I really don't. At this point, like y'all would say, it was blocking. Like that's what everybody would say. Glorified lineman. Okay, cool. But I'm at the point now to where our line is like so much better than they have been in the past that you can't get that off that we're holding a roster spot because a tight end can block. Because I'm under the belief that we can just bring somebody else in to do the same thing. Or Jatavion Sanders, he can do that. He might not do it as well as Ian, but we're not going to be missing that much production because Ian Thomas isn't out there blocking. But in the past game, he's dog shit. I mean, I seen him drop one pass, and I was just like, well, I want him out the game. And then to proceed to have him in the game was just mind-boggling to me. So hopefully when Tommy Tremble comes back, he takes a lesser role, but I don't even know if that's – I don't know. For some reason, they love him in Carolina. Yeah. But he's sorry as hell to me.
Yeah, me too. What else? So that was another thing that pissed me off. The missed tackles, the miscommunication, that shit is getting old. We're 6 weeks into the season now. Xavier Woods and J.C. Horn, there's absolutely no reason in my mind personally that they should be having miscommunication problems. So those are three things that pissed me off, including that play. The penalties yesterday, Sunday, I don't know. I don't know when we became this undisciplined, but it was pathetic. I think we had 4 pre-snap penalties in the first quarter alone. Shout out to Icky. Shout out to Chandler Zavala. Shout out to Josh Nyman. Damn near everybody except for the folks that we gave $150 million to up front.
We had a total of 10 penalties for 74 yards.
Might as well just dive into our key stats. The stats that Dave Canales has spoken about ad nauseum: turnovers, penalties, third down efficiency, and red zone efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I would say everything else for the most part is not too terribly far off when you're in a competitive game.
Yep.
Like first downs, 25-21. Total plays, they had 68. We had 62. Total yards, 423. We had 335. So 11 drives to 10 drives. Passing yards, damn near identical. But when you get into the stuff when it's like, they had more attempts in the red zone. They were 4 for 8. We were 2 for 3. So I guess when we got in there, we made the most out of it. Penalties killed us, 10 for 74 when they had 5 for 45. Turnovers, 2 to their 1. Like I said, you lose the turnover battle, it's a high chance of you losing the game, in which that's what we did. And time of possession was 30 minutes and 40 seconds to 29 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, everything else was pretty much identical besides the stats that really mattered the most. Like turnovers, like penalties, like the things that can shoot you in the foot early in the game or late in the game and kind of have you playing catch-up ball. That also takes momentum away when you're driving. Also kills the confidence of the other players on the team. So it's just mental mistakes like that has to be cleaned up, especially when you're already an injury-plagued football team. Like, for you to win games at this point, you damn near have to play perfect just because you don't have a lot of bodies. Like, you don't have a lot of good players at this point. So when it comes to you making regular, competent football plays, those are things that you have to execute on because you can no longer rely on a heavy, talented roster to kind of bail you out of doing the dumb shit. So,
which this team already isn't a heavily talented roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not, but
we are missing a lot of talent, which exactly. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like if you have like a Shaq Thompson, a Derrick Brown, or somebody like that, then you might be able to afford like a dumb penalty here, a dumb penalty there, because you actually have people on the field who are difference makers, and I think that the guys are wired to play a lot better around those guys when they have those guys affecting the games, Jadeveon Clowney. But when you don't have those guys on the field and you're just making these dumbass mistakes, missing all of these tackles, it's like you're already playing catch-up. It just puts your team in a bind.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, yeah, it's getting to that point yet again where it's very, very close to last year.
Wasn't it about this time last year where we started hitting that wall? Was it about 0-6? I think the bye week was our saving grace, thinking that could come out and maybe make a little bit of noise.
No, because we beat Houston relatively earlier on in the year last year.
Yeah, but it was an 0-6 start. It was winless up until the bye, and then I think came out the bye and beat Houston, which picked up the energy a little bit.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
The thing is, it's a lot, like, you can see it's a lot more competitive. Like, those other games, it was like our defense was holding teams to, like, 13 points or something like that. Offense was staying in the game with field goals. But now, like, you see the offense can actually score, can actually move the ball, but then you have the defense who are just injury plagued, and then the players that are playing backup, like they're just not good. But the offense keeps the games relatively competitive, which it was different. It was the complete opposite last year.
Yeah.
So the games are a little easier to watch. Like, obviously, you still don't want to see your team losing, but like the average NFL fan, which this is the reason that they changed the whole dynamic of the NFL, trying to make the offense more high power, taking away a lot of tackles on the defensive side, because the average NFL fan can stomach watching a game when your team is losing, but also your team is scoring points. So it makes it a little easier to watch, but also as a diehard Panthers fan or any diehard like football fan, you're still going to be frustrated with your team losing. But in the grand scheme of things, it is looking a lot like last year.
Well, so then, I mean, that was a perfect segue for a place where I wanted to go, just because I saw this on Twitter and I kind of had a little outburst. I'll admit it. The conversation about Bryce Young, right? So I think that, yeah, unfortunately, we're right back. And this is what pissed me off about the whole thing. This is why I had the outburst on Twitter, is because of this. But the position that a lot of people within Panthers Twitter right now are taking is the fact that, I mean, this team is obviously going nowhere.
I already know where this is going to go.
You already know. This team is obviously going nowhere. We're 1-5. You know, it looks sexier. Your team is still losing games. So what is the purpose in playing Andy Dalton over Bryce Young? Do you believe that Bryce Young should be the Carolina Panthers starter going forward towards the end of this year? If so, why? If not, why not? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just touch on that because, like I said, I had an outburst, and I'll share my opinion in a second. But
yeah,
I want to know what you think, and you as well, because you were heavy on the Bryce train at the beginning of this year. So I would like to know your opinion as well.
Yeah, one of my boys actually proposed that same sentiment to me that watches the pod. I think it was the Bengals game where we were kind of out of the game, and he was like, I mean, you might as well throw Bryce in the second half or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, I don't think we're going to see any more of Bryce just regardless. But, no, I don't think that, we should throw him back into the season. I think we should still keep rolling with Andy. The reason I take that stance is because I think that the reason Bryce looked like he did last year, and then at the beginning of this year, which everybody was saying, I don't know how y'all just jumped off of this train, was the fact that a lot of people believed Andy should have started when Bryce got drafted. Like, and you had said that they named Bryce the starter way too early. A lot of people felt like there were people who felt like Bryce should have sat behind Andy, learned a little bit more, kind of developed that way, even though that's not the norm for especially number one draft picks coming out of college now. But that was just a situation that a lot of people thought would have benefited Bryce. And so I think now is the year that he can actually sit behind Andy, learn if he is going to come out of the shell that he's in. If we want to see Bryce be better than he was, if there's going to be any sighting of that, if there's going to be any potential of that, then I think the best thing going forward would be for him to continue to sit behind Andy, continue to learn, because obviously we see the offense looks a lot better with Andy. We're moving the ball a lot. We're putting a lot more points on the board. The running game looks a lot better. Guys can't just, stack the box because they know we can't pass the ball. So things look a lot better. And these games are still competitive games. So, like, even though you're probably not going to make a playoff run, obviously, but, I mean, they're still going to be competitive games. Like, guys are going to be able to put film on tape. Guys are going to be able to, have the ability to fight for contracts. Like, you're giving guys a chance to show what they can do, show what we bought on the Carolina to do. And I think Andy gives them that best chance. So I don't think there's a reason why you should throw Bryce in now. I think the development that most of y'all wanted to see, he's in the perfect spot to have that kind of development by sitting behind Andy for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you put Bryce in the back as the starter because I think when you have an obligation to your team as well as the fans to put the best players on the field, regardless of where regardless of where they were drafted or who gets paid what, you have to play the best players. And Bryce, at this point, has clearly shown that he's not better than Andy. And I think you also have to make him earn his job back. You don't just hand it to him just because he was drafted number 1 overall, especially with the way he looked. Like, you have to make him go out and earn it. And then if the team isn't going to be competitive, what's the point of even throwing him out there just to get, like, you could say for reps, but, like.
Yeah, I think that's the stance.
It's going to kill his confidence even more.
Live reps.
I was about to say, yeah, it could end up backfiring.
Yeah.
Like, I think you make him sit back and genuinely watch. Like, you need to really sit back and watch how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And then next offseason, next training camp, you're competing for a job. You're not going to be the starter. You're going to compete for the job. And if you sit back in this time and do what you're supposed to do, fix your fucking head because your head isn't right. Fix your mechanics because your mechanics aren't right. Fix everything that you got to fix and then come back and prove that you can be the guy for this franchise. Otherwise, take the keys back and go find another one.
Yeah, that's what I told my dad because he was at the game Sunday. And he asked me, he was like, what do you do? Like, what do you do with Bryce Young? Like, he's not heavily invested in the Panthers like we are, but he's like, what do you do with Bryce Young? And I'm like, well, I mean, you're not starting him again this year. I was like, we already seen that he really doesn't have that much trade value. Like, they offered a 4 for him. That was it. The best thing that he can do at this point is continue to sit behind Andy, learn, like you said, which is the exact thing I told him. Then you have an opportunity next offseason to actually compete for your job, like, and it not be given to you. Like, you have to actually go on training camp, mini camp, and compete.
And then if you go do that, you earn the respect of the guys because then you're not like I feel like last time, people were told to respect Bryce.
And it's not even I don't even think that it's necessarily a respect thing. I think it's a coddling thing. And I will point back to Jordan Matthews' interview, which is something that I gassed up over training camp, but then it kind of like it showed itself that I don't even know if it's really a respect thing. I think it's just like, this is our little brother and we got to protect him. That's the way that I see it.
But that's exactly why it is a respect thing, because you have to stop being viewed as little bro or as somebody that has to be protected. You have to go earn the respect of the guys. Like, this is one of the guys that we're going to war with, not going to war to protect.
And I also think, like, the players, the front office, and a lot of the fans, including me, we were so used to bad quarterback play, which I don't even know if it's considered bad quarterback play anymore, being that what Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are doing now. But we were so used to that Bryce came in, number 1 overall pick. We're like, okay, this is a new toy. Like, we're just so happy to see something different. And then just based off of what he did at Alabama, based off how the analysts gassed him up, we're like, this is a new toy. This is going to automatically be the fix for the franchise because, 1, that's what Dave Tepper told us. 2, that's what everybody would have had you to believe based on his tape, based on how he was gassed up. And so I think that was another thing where it was just like, okay, this is the new toy. We're going to throw him in there. He's going to change the trajectory of the franchise. This is going to be good. This is going to be dandy without any real evaluation of how his play actually was. And then by that time, it was just too fucking late.
Yeah. My outburst was pretty much telling people that, like, wrap that shit up. Like, honestly. I don't know if I think that yesterday I was very, very emotional. Just about the game in general, and I was a little faded. So sometimes I get on Twitter and I be faded. And if you see anything like OD crazy from FPFO, specifically on a Sunday, it's because I'm on there faded from the game. So I'll say that as a preface. This is for one, it's an uncomfortable situation. Because if you're the Carolina Panthers, I mean, there's really no way out at this very second. I think we've had that conversation on this podcast already a couple of different times. You want Bryce Young to have the ability to develop. You want Bryce Young to have the ability to see those live reps, which I thought was the reason why Dave Canales put him in at the end of the game against Chicago. And then he told me in the interview that wasn't the reason why we had to protect Andy Dalton. Which is like insane. Like, looking back at it now, insane. But I appreciate the honesty. I'd rather you tell me the truth than lie. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Let me know what time it is. And unfortunately, I think that us as Panthers fans, as well as this organization, the relationship between Bryce has been one that constantly coddles. So when you hear something like that, it's just like almost a shell shock. When you hear it and you're like, did he really just say that about the former number 1 overall pick? But unfortunately, like, that's just, I think, the timing that it has to be with Bryce Young. There's so many layers to this conversation, and I'll just keep my opinion as brief as possible because I know I get long-winded sometimes. Yesterday I said, get Bryce gone, whatever. The problem is, like, are you going to re-sign Andy Dalton? If not, who are you bringing in? Because it would have to be a vet quarterback. Because you're not – I genuinely don't believe that the Carolina Panthers even are considering a quarterback this offseason in the draft. I don't think the Carolina Panthers are looking at anything offensively at this very second. And if they are, they're dumb as hell. And it would just go to show another layer of incompetence within this organization. So I don't think that we're even looking remotely close to offense. I don't think we're looking at quarterback. There's no quarterback that moves me personally. You're not going to be able to get Shedeur. Well, maybe you will be able to get Shedeur. I just don't know if that's I don't know if that's the right answer. I don't know if that's the right answer. I don't.
Yeah, I would wonder how much of an upgrade that would actually be.
I mean, Shedeur is a hell of a quarterback, bro. He's a hell of a quarterback. Even if you look at what he did against Kansas State this past week, like he put them in a position to win the ball game. They just simply didn't get it done.
And I don't know if y'all watched Deion's interview. Shedeur, he's not even letting Shedeur come to Carolina.
Yeah, I saw that.
He already said that he will pull some man and shit. Like, that's not even an option, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an option. But
I don't think so either. I think it's Vegas. Like, I think he wants to go to Vegas.
Exactly.
And I think Travis is going to end up in Miami.
Yeah.
Travis is an option.
Well, he also said something about Travis or Shedeur ending up in Miami as well. He hinted at that. He was like, kind of, what do you do in the Dolphins situation? You're not about to have a yard sale with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And he was like, we really don't know how much Tua has left, like, honestly. So it's like, you know, kind of what will Miami do in that situation? So I think that's a possibility as well.
Yeah. Just off of that, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is like one of those situations where I'm really clueless. I don't know what direction you go. For me, everybody knows my stance and knew my stance on Bryce Young last year. I thought that he would make a significant step or take a significant step in his development this year under Dave Canales in that offense. We saw what happened the first 2 games. A lot of people are saying, look, he played 2 phenomenal defenses. That could be part of the reason why he looked the way he did in the first 2 weeks. I don't subscribe to that believing nor thought process. That's not me. Personally, I just think, and I highly encourage you guys, and you're going to have to do a little bit of work on within the network, within the YouTube channel. But I highly encourage you guys to go back to training camp, okay? If you go back to training camp, this was not an episode of Move to Change. It was an episode of For Panthers Fans Only. You can go back. This was we did 2 episodes, or actually we did 3 episodes. This was the second episode that we released where I went on a 10 or 15-minute rant about Bryce Young and why I felt as though he doesn't have what it takes to be a successful NFL quarterback. And it just spoke. I was just speaking about his mentality, his attitude, his leadership qualities from an outside perspective, obviously. But I highly encourage y'all to go back and look at that. It was, when did you guys come down? Do you remember the dates? Do y'all remember the dates when y'all came to training camp? Was it like the second week, the second weekend? I think it may have been like August 3rd or something.
Yeah.
I think it was August 3rd or somewhere in that range. But if you go back to that time, go to that episode and fast forward to like the last 15 or 20 minutes of both episodes, and it'll be segued in, and you'll understand, you'll know exactly what piece I'm talking about. But that's how I feel about Bryce Young. I don't think that he's a leader of men. He's already told us that he's not externally motivated. You know, you can look at that as a good or a bad thing. Me personally, I hate it. I despise it. I don't like it. I don't know. All of that being said, the situation is so bad that I don't know. Because like Tavian said, okay, cool, well, you let him sit out, right? And then you force him to earn his spot back. But it's just like, who is he battling against? Are you telling me the Carolina Panthers are going to go get Russell Wilson? Or you're going to re-sign? Are you going to
that?
I saw that.
That's not a bad idea.
I
haven't heard that before. That's not a bad idea.
I saw that on Twitter. Unfortunately, I didn't screenshot it. I don't know who presented that.
At
that
this
theory,
point,
but I don't like it.
At this point, he would need somewhere to revive his career, or try to.
Well, can I?
Who, Russ?
Because
I would
say
say
not
that
playing in
Russ
Pittsburgh.
would be a
No, I
good
don't think so.
ad because he'd be cheap, and he's a guy who's made a career in the NFL as a smaller quarterback. Like not like on like I swear I'm not trying to be funny, but like as a smaller quarterback, Russell Wilson has made a career as that, and who better to mentor a guy who's been struggling? I mean, and especially with like as again, not trying to be funny, with as soft as Bryce is and as like happy go lucky Jesus, hey, as Russell Wilson is, like I feel who better to kind of revive Bryce's career or be a mentor for Bryce than a Russell Wilson.
See, and
pisses you off.
Yeah, it really does, bro. It really does, and that I hate that. I don't even really want to have this. I don't even really want to go like all the way into it because it's like me coming from such a jaded place. Because I just don't like how soft a nigga is, and that's been
Russ or Bryce.
Bryce. I can live with Russ. Russ is just a fucking cornball, bro, and he's been like that his whole career. I mean, but you also can't take his ring away. You can't.
Should have to.
And he should have too. Should Vegas not had the drop? Should Vegas not have had the pull that they had? They should have too. If they didn't want a nigga getting on that stand for a Super Bowl MVP, if they would have allowed that to happen, he would have too. But they couldn't do that. My apologies. I went on a little rant.
But my thing is, getting back to the Bryce situation, it's like, my God, like most of y'all banged the table for Andy Dalton to come in and be the starter when we seen Bryce play terrible those first two games. And then when y'all seen Andy, what he did in Vegas, like a lot of y'all, just like we said, like, oh, we don't want to see any more of Bryce. Now all of a sudden you think after – 3 games it's been since he got his job taken out, he's just all of a sudden learned so fucking much?
Well, they came out of their hole last week against Chicago because Andy looked so bad, but that was the offense as a whole. So they came out of their hole. Bryce Young truthers, literally, Vegas, that whole week, pre-Vegas and post-Vegas, Bryce Young truthers were nowhere to be found on Panthers Twitter. Now all of a sudden, because the offense or Andy Dalton in particular has looked subpar, now all of a sudden they're back out and Bryce Young should be in the game. My biggest thing with this fan base is like the fucking constant need to be right. Nobody knows what we should do in this situation. Let's start there. Nobody knows. This front office doesn't know. We don't know on this podcast. Y'all don't know. Nobody knows what we should do at this very moment. Ideally, I would assume that you would probably want to trade Bryce if you could have gotten a first or a second or hell, even a third for him, but you're not getting that. So now your hands are kind of tied and you're stuck with the guy, right? We kind of all have a feeling and understanding and a knowing that playoffs are out of the picture for this season. So do you throw him back out there and running the risk of how soft we know Bryce Young is, with all due respect, but, I'm just not going to lie. I'm not going to lie for any reason on this platform. So do you run the risk of fucking his confidence even more and throw him back out there against closer to the tougher part of the season, right? Because we've talked about how easy the first 7-8 games are going to be or were supposed to be for the Carolina Panthers and how brutal that shit gets on the back end. So you either run the risk of doing that or you let him sit where he's not seeing live reps and when he's not developing from a playing standpoint within those live reps. So it's like a catch-22. It's a double-edged sword. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I personally don't know what they should do with the guy. I don't. I know as a fan, I have been enjoying, even though the Carolina Panthers have been losing, I know people are going to shit on me, slander me, whatever the case may be, because I see y'all doing it to other people on Twitter. I personally have been enjoying seeing the Carolina Panthers be competent and be competitive.
And that's the place this franchise has gotten to. Not
And
saying
it's
that's
sad.
bad on you, but I'm
No,
just saying
it's extremely sad and it's extremely unfortunate. But listen, bro, if you were in Bank of America Stadium on Sunday, you know the energy was a little bit different. The vibes were up. Yes, Atlanta was deep, but I will tell you that I seen the first 2 weeks. Well, not the first 2 weeks of this season. I'll say the home opener this year, as well as multiple games last year. I seen the stadium fucking third of the way empty or full, 2/3 empty, or I've seen people leaving at midway through the third quarter. Yesterday, Sunday, it was not like that. And we were loud and we were rocking. 8-point game in the fourth quarter, and then Andy Dalton throws the pick, and that's when you start seeing motherfuckers heading for the exit.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, it actually was a good game. But
It was a dog fight. We went back and forth, bro. We went back and forth. Our offense looks good. Our weapons are producing. Like I don't know why. I'm just not under the belief that right now is the time for Bryce to be re-entered. I'm not. I don't think that. And I honestly don't think that he should be a starter for the Carolina Panthers ever again.
And you're right to think that. And I want everybody who, like, for whatever reason feels bad for Bryce Young, you shouldn't. Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick. He made it to the NFL as an undersized quarterback. He signed a fully guaranteed contract?
$32 million fully guaranteed.
Yeah, he signed a fully guaranteed contract of generational wealth type of money. Bryce Young, regardless of what he does from this point on out in his football career, will be fine as a human on this planet. He will be better than 99.9% of y'all listening. Do not feel bad.
I couldn't give a fuck if he was or not, to be frank. But that's just my bad. You're right. I didn't mean to cut you off. My fault.
However you feel, like, Bryce Young will be fine. There's no reason to feel bad for the guy. At this point, though, as it pertains to being in NFL, putting away the Heisman, putting away being an elite prospect coming out of high school, putting away being a national champion at Alabama, putting away all the accolades in his football career, he hasn't done shit in the NFL. And if he wants to be considered for a spot in this league, he has to go out there and earn it just like everybody else. He needs to go back and show that he is worthy of being a quarterback of an NFL franchise. There's only 32 positions. There's only 32 jobs in the world for what he wants to do. And he's not even top 70 right now.
And you know what? You know what's another conversation that a lot of people aren't having? Because listen, even though I made the comments about Dave Canales earlier, I still feel the same way that I do about Dave Canales. I believe that there is a culture shift happening. Honestly, personally, there may have been a couple of plays throughout the year where I've challenged individual players' effort. But to be quite frank, effort was a huge problem last year, glaringly on the film. This year, it's not really the same.
They're just ass.
It's just just a talent thing.
Yeah.
Because I can't even come on this platform, I can't even come on this podcast and tell y'all, like, the Carolina Panthers are playing with a lack of effort. Like, it's not even that. It's literally just a lack of talent thing, right? So I say that to say, like, I trust Dave Canales. Dave Canales has a, 4, 5, 6 year deal with us? What is the contract? Let's see. What is the contract? And I'm going somewhere, so just bear with me.
It ain't Matt Rule-esque.
No, it's damn sure not Matt.
10 years.
We learn from that. Let's see. Just really quick. I'm making my point. 6 years. So 6 years. Dave Tepper and the Carolina Panthers have committed to Dave Canales. I've been constant in my support for Dave Canales. I cracked a couple jokes on him when we first signed him, just with the whole book thing and the addictions that he's had or whatever the case may be. But that's just for entertainment purposes. As a head coach for the Carolina Panthers, I think he's done a phenomenal job. I really, really do. I understand we're 1-5. Damn, I wish we were 5-1. I understand we're 1-5. I understand that, there's been some growing pains or whatever the case may be. I think Dave Canales has done an outstanding job. The conversation that I don't see people having, which I think is a very, very, very important one, is the fact that do we even know for a fact that Dave Canales wants Bryce Young to be his quarterback going forward. And I know that the stance is, look, he wouldn't have taken a job if he didn't want to coach Bryce Young. He wouldn't have done this and that. Me personally, I just simply do not believe that. We've talked about on multiple occasions how the Carolina Panthers were the only head coaching gig that Dave Canales interviewed for. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. If I'm a coach in the NFL and my goal is to be a head coach, I'm going to lie my ass off if Dave Tepper comes to me and says, do you believe you can fix Bryce Young? Are you looking forward to working with him? Is your play style competent enough for him to understand and digest and execute? Et cetera, et cetera.
You don't even have to lie. Maybe he genuinely believed he could have fixed Bryce and then got there and saw how bad he was.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say two things can be true. He could have absolutely believed it, but then was just like, he worked close with him and been like, oh, yep, it's just, he's too far gone. Yeah,
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. That's a great point. And so my whole thing is the conversation that people are not having enough is the fact that the Carolina Panthers have committed 6 years to Dave Canales. And in my opinion, at this very second, I believe that was the right decision. I honestly love Dave Canales as a head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Now, listen, I'm very, very emotional. I know that about myself. I'm very self-aware. I could come on here and start slandering his name next week. It's very, very possible. I'm telling you right now, the feelings that I have towards Dave Canales after being around the team for the duration of the summer, after listening to every interview he's ever done as it pertains to the Carolina Panthers, after being just around constantly, went to Vegas, has been to all the home games, et cetera, have pretty much watched every piece of content that the Carolina Panthers have dropped surrounding the 2024-2025 Carolina Panthers. I love Dave Canales as our head coach. I believe he holds players accountable. I believe he holds himself accountable. I believe he has an idea for what he wants, the energy, and just the morale to be, what the standard is. I think he's very, very clear. I think Dave Canales is a great head coach specifically for the Carolina Panthers. The question that I have to ask the viewers, and y'all can chime in if y'all want, is does Dave Canales even want Bryce Young to be his quarterback going forward? Because to be quite frank, if I'm just being honest, if I'm choosing value at this very second, to me, Dave Canales is more valuable to the Carolina Panthers organization than Bryce Young is. That's just me being 100% honest. That's the way that I see it. So I would like to pose that question to the viewer as well as y'all, because I honestly don't know. I don't know. But when you get caught slipping, and maybe it's a rookie mistake. He is a rookie head coach, not used to being in front of the cameras that often. But as the week has gone by, and I go back and look and hear the sound bit of him talking about Andy Dalton and protecting him against a battered offensive line, so we decided to throw Bryce Young out there, that doesn't tell me that Dave Canales sees much value in Bryce Young nor his future, because you risk his confidence, you risk an injury, et cetera, et cetera. So that is the question that I'm presenting to the podcast as well as to the viewers. Does Dave Canales even want Bryce Young as the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers going forward? Terrence?
I mean,
anything?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a difficult question to answer.
Extremely.
Yeah, I would say as of right now, he feels like he can win with Andy Dalton, or he can be competitive with Andy Dalton, which has turned out to be true. But I don't think that necessarily means he's like kicking Bryce off the cliff. But then also, if he's going to be able to have his pick of the litter of a quarterback, not this year, but maybe next year, then it's like, do I want Bryce Young, or do I want to go get my own guy? So, I mean, it's a difficult question to answer there.
Bingo. Yeah, I'm going to cop out a little bit. I'm going to say because of the fact of Canales' track record, if there was a guy to have the ability to identify if there were traits within Bryce that he could work with to turn him into a successful quarterback, this is a guy that worked with Geno Smith, helped him revive his career, put him on the field. A guy that worked with Baker Mayfield, helped him revive his career, put him on the field. Like, this would be the guy. Like, these are two quarterbacks who came in relatively highly touted. Baker obviously being the number one pick, and I believe Geno was a first-round pick. He was very highly touted coming out of West Virginia at the time when he was drafted by the Jets. And they pulled something out of those two guys and helped them get their stuff back on track. He would be able to tell if he could do that with Bryce. And there is an accountability that Dave Canales has for himself and he expects of his team. Because of the fact, like you say, you joked about the book that he had to write for cheating on his wife and dealing with the addiction and everything, but he wrote the book and he put it out to the public. I don't understand how you could, how better can you take accountability?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to write a whole story about it. Like, that whole story is a representation of accountability and what Dave Canales brings. So I think.
And
I don't know if Bryce. Here's what I'll say. If Bryce can prove that he can take accountability for his piss-poor play up to this point in his career, then I think he has a shot.
And I'll also say, I think, and I said this like a couple weeks ago, I also think it comes down to job security as well. I think there will be a lot of more different conversations if the Carolina Panthers were 0-5 and were only scoring 7 points a week or could only muster up field goals. But I think even though we're a 1-5 football team, I think it says a lot. It's a difference between a 1-5 team who just doesn't produce any points and looks like bullshit versus a 1-5 team who's in majority of football games and makes the games look competitive. So I also think it's from a job security standpoint that Dave Canales isn't about to go to the media and say he's all in on Bryce and just giving Bryce an unlimited amount of chances as well. Like, because first he has to protect his family. He has to protect his bag.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, so, I mean, and then we could think about Bryce at the end of the day when I know that my bag is secure, because I know that even though we're like a 1-5 team, I know this is a competitive football team, better than what we looked last year. So, I mean, there's a chance that I, still get another year or two at this thing.
Not only his bag, but he has to protect the bag of his guys too.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the thing too. That's the part that people aren't really honing in on, really ain't focusing on, is the fact that every time the conversation comes up, Dave Canales talks about having the best opportunity and the best chance to win. Andy Dalton gives this team the best opportunity and the best chance to win. That's been his main point since Andy Dalton was marked as the starter. So yeah, it's a weird situation. The whole situation is just extremely weird. It is. I will say, just complete sidebar, I wish this defense was healthy. Because to be quite frank, the way this offense has the ability to move the football, listen, even with the way Chuba was toting the football with Taylor Moton being out and Austin Corbett being out Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons, I think this team would be working with something, no cap. And we would be having a completely different situation. Completely different conversation we would be having if this defense was healthy. But, I mean, like I said, that's a sidebar. The defense isn't, and they look terrible, the worst in the NFL. So, we deal with it how it comes. But
going into the game, giving up a league high 33 points a game.
Buddy, and it's bad. It's like a guaranteed 30 points that we're going to get dropped on our head for shit show every single week.
So take the over.
Absolutely.
Ram it.
Juice. Perfect segue.
I swear it was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. It's a very, very, very sticky situation. Very, very weird. I don't know. Like I said, I trust Dave Canales. And I know a lot of y'all feel like he's the company man. A lot of y'all feel like Dave Tepper is still calling the shots. Something else we didn't touch on is the fact that the report came out that Dave Tepper did have to sign off on Bryce Young being benched, which that to me didn't move me. The only thing that told me, which is what I brought to this podcast, which is something that I said on Twitter that I got slandered for, was the fact that I believe that this was a Dave Canales decision to sit Bryce Young, and he was the one that initiated the conversation. That's what I believed, and I still believe that, and I think that the report of Dave Tepper signing off on that move kind of supports that as well. Because they would be worded different from a verbiage standpoint if he was the one that initiated it and told Dave Canales, hey, put Bryce's ass on the bench. So that's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. I guess we'll go to Juice since my co-host had such a phenomenal segue.
Yeah, you fucked it up by continuing to run your mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know why you segued it. You segued it too early.
No, it was perfect to me.
I hope this is the right one. I think I do this every single week. Yeah. You won your first ticket yesterday? Or not yesterday?
Yeah. We're back, baby. We're back in the winner's circle. If you locked in with me, then you hit for a fucking money ball. Let's go. And we're running it back this week. I tell you what, we're running it back.
Why you look at me every time he does some dumb shit?
It's just funny that he said if they locked in with him, that they hit for a money ball. How much did you hit for?
Don't worry about it.
He didn't put it in.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I put $1 on the ticket.
To win 21? Is that what? That's
$8.
What it was?
Why you watching my pocket?
Oh wow! It was. It actually was a +7 something. I remember that.
Yeah. So if you locked in with the 100, then you would have, had a nice little
Now,
come
who
up.
the
So
fuck
you're
would
welcome.
have
You're
trusted
welcome.
you to
You're
put
welcome.
$100?
Now lock in with
After
me because
winning
we
one
are
ticket.
going back to back, baby. Do I get to lead off? I'll lead off. I got you. With the ticket, I decided to up the juice a little bit. I was feeling good coming off a win. Plus 1056.
That's a profit boost.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Plus 1056.
That's just a $2 bet. Oh, okay, got it.
why are you worried about
My
me?
fault. I thought it was a profit
I gotta
boost.
lock it in so I can save it. I'm gonna double down with 200.
Yeah, right.
Plus
You just
1056. We're taking the under total points in the Denver Broncos New Orleans Saints game under 43.5. I don't know if you watched the Denver Broncos Chargers game. Bosif Knicks ain't that good. Bomani Knicks.
You so gassed up off of him, bro.
Bro, it's because them Denver fans had me turned. I just wanted to cheer for something.
Bro, they have a whole fan club in there.
Oh yeah, we'll talk off camera. But yeah, this rookies, Detroit Lions and Denver Broncos.
For real?
Fan
Yes,
club.
bro. Every Sunday.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Denver Broncos, New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler, I'm assuming, is going to start again. We're taking the under in that game. We got the Houston Texans money line against the Green Bay Packers. We got the Philadelphia Eagles money line against the New York Giants. We got the Washington Commanders money line against the Carolina Panthers. And we are going over 48.5 points in the Baltimore Ravens Tampa Bay Bucks game. Lock in. Plus 1056. Go ahead and take it. Smash it, ram it. We're doubling down. Back to back, baby.
All right, I got my ticket. The only reason I lost my ticket last week is because Seattle couldn't get the job done. Plus 6.5, they lost by like 12. Sorry as fuck. But I have the New Orleans Saints against Denver. Money line, I have Jacksonville beating the Patriots. I have Philly beating the New York Giants. I have Clemson minus 21.5 against Virginia. And Clemson's at home, by the way. And I have Miami beating Louisville. That is plus 12, 13. That just seems like an easy lay, but somebody bound to fuck it up. So lock it in.
Miami. It'll be Miami.
We'll see.
Do you have a lock?
Yeah, I got a lock.
Terrence? What's
Yeah,
your lock?
my lock is Clemson minus 21.5.
My lock is my whole ticket. Run it. Run it.
That's your boy.
Okay. All right. You got it, buddy. This is Dylan's ticket. He is betting the over on Broncos and Saints at over 37.5. San Francisco money line against the Chiefs. Cincinnati money line against the Browns, and Commanders money line against the against the Panthers. My apologies. Plus 552. Never mind.
Soft.
Never mind. I'm going to chill. I'm going to let him off the hook. I don't know. He didn't text me a lock this week. It's probably my fault because we didn't do locks last week, so that's my apologies. I have a 4-leg, plus 1323. We're starting the week off properly on Thursday with the New Orleans Saints against the Broncos. That's plus 100 right now if you can get it, you can get in. Northern Illinois.
You didn't say who you was picking to win. You just said the matchup.
Did I not say the Saints?
No. You just said the matchup. They said plus
I'm
100.
blazing. I'm tripping, bro. Because it's the Yankees are playing, so I'm like back and forth. I'm not focused. That's all. The New Orleans Saints to win against the Denver Broncos money line. What is it?
I'm sorry, bro. I just seen Kyle Kuzma drop Ben Simmons and then airball. Like, just
He's
two
embarrassing,
goofy
bro.
ass niggas.
Yeah. So Saints money line against Denver on Thursday night. Northern Illinois -2.5 against Toledo. I like them folks in Northern Illinois. That coach got them folks turned up. I'm not gonna lie. They done made me a lot of money this year too. I'm still riding with my squad -2.5. Lock that in. That's my lock for the week. Northern Illinois -2.5 against Toledo. I'm taking the Colts to cover -3.5 against Miami. Yeah, I'm fading Terrence. Nothing new there. And then give me the over. What did you have?
You said Louisville -3.5?
No, the Colts -3.5. Didn't you take Miami?
No. I took Miami, the college team.
Oh, I believe. Okay, cool.
And that's what you said was going to fold, Tavian?
I think he.
You got Louisville against Miami?
No, I didn't take him. I'm just saying that's who's going to fold on your ticket.
What makes you think that?
Miami's been playing like some bullshit and keeps cutting it close the last 3 weeks.
Continue.
Over 52.5 against the matchup between the Panthers and the Commanders. Our defense is suspect. Their defense is suspect. Our offense is competent. Their offense is really, really good. Over 52.5 is going to be slight. That is plus 1323. My lock is Northern Illinois -2.5. That ticket is going to hit. I'll have my first win on the board by next week. I'm not worried.
A return of Oos.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I'm bringing my Sharpie for sure.
But when
I'm bringing my Sharpie.
But when I say that, it's a problem.
I mean, because it's a little bit different.
How?
He at least played for my team.
So you don't play for them no more?
I have his jersey. I want it signed.
All right.
He just unfortunately plays in another jersey. That's it.
Well, if I get bro jersey, it shouldn't be a problem.
No, it's not.
Just to get it
I
signed.
was just on your top. That's it. This is the last segment that we have for today. But I want to get opinions. I think Deontay Johnson is gone, unfortunately. I blame thinking like Terrence is for that being the case. Wait, actually, don't say anything yet. Actually, do you think that he should be paid now? You can say no. I mean, I just want to know your opinion.
I don't think my stance hasn't changed.
Okay, cool. So I think Deontay Johnson is gone. Now the question and kind of the conversation that we have to go ahead and start having is what to do with Chuba Hubbard. Because Jonathan Brooks' window is back open. Breaking news from Monday.
We need to see him play, though.
We do need to see him play.
Because I don't know if he's going to bring the kind of production that Chuba has been bringing.
Chuba has looked like I mean, Chuba, I said it on multiple occasions this year, top 3 back. And I think every single week I've gone up. I think I finally hit top 5 last week. And I'm on the record. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go top 3 right now in the NFL. Chuba Hubbard, for sure.
Yeah.
Pay him. I'm sick and tired of us getting talent and letting it walk out of the door for free.
Now, that's who I want to pay.
Pay him.
I'll pay Chuba. Shamik,
Give him a David Montgomery contract.
I don't know what his contract was.
Yeah,
Sound like a 2-year, $18 million.
That's a lot of bread for a running back.
2-year contract,
$9 million a year after you already have Miles Sanders to account for.
Pay him. Oh, is that what you just said? Pay him.
You're right.
Yeah,
Pay
I
him.
mean,
we have the cap for it.
I think Shamika's also, because he messaged me too, he's also under the belief that we'll just let him walk like we do everybody else.
I think that's oh my God.
But I mean, I say we pay Chuba. Deontay Johnson, I'm still under the same belief. I take the same stance. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I really don't care. But pay Chuba.
Yeah, pay Chuba. I mean, that's it. I just want to know your opinion.
Yeah.
I want to know what you thought about it. I think that, I mean, I don't know how you can be in a front office. And I think that you should pay them now. I'm under the belief that the sooner you can pay guys, the better. I don't want to go into the offseason and let them test the water. Because prime example, we saw what happened with Brian Burns. Now, we did get something for him, and that's great. Shout out to the front office for, inheriting a terrible situation and making the most of it. But we've seen guys walk for free. You can look at Frankie Louvu. You allow him to get to the offseason. You try and pay him the same amount of money or more that Washington offered him. But because he was a free agent, he had the ability to go elsewhere. Whereas if you would have just locked him up in the season, you wouldn't have had to worry about it, and your defense would look a little bit better, bare minimum.
Who's to say he would have signed in the middle of the season, though?
I mean, that's true. They do have the option to not sign. But I think if you can be proactive and say, Chew, listen, we look at your efficiency, we look at your yards per carry, we look at the total yardage that you've garnered this year, we look at your production overall, we want to give you this offer. We'll leave it on the table for 4 weeks. If you want to sign it, cool. If you don't, we totally understand, but this is what we want to pay you right now. If you want to test the waters the offseason, we completely understand, but we want to get it in front of you now. I don't believe the Carolina Panthers have done that yet.
I am coming around to the idea of paying Deontay Johnson simply because this is a talent-deficient roster. This is a talent-deficient roster, and you have to pay the guys. And I think I see a future in which Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette, who is slowly but quietly coming into his own, where those two can lead the charge. I think at this point in my mind, Adam Thielen is washed out. She's a little bit too old, injuries, everything. Respect what he's done with this team, as hard as that was, being the only one. But I see a future in which Deontay Johnson and X can definitely pave the way for whichever quarterback, whether that be Bryce stepping back in or whoever whoever wins the starting job next season for the Panthers to, assist them. I think I see a way for that.
And
I'm
been
coming around.
Yeah,
and definitely paid Shub. You don't even got to ask questions about that.
Yeah, and to me, that's been my point literally the whole time. So I'm glad that you're coming around. We'll get Terrence on board at some point or another. Just give it a couple more weeks.
You know what it was? It was because I watched him this weekend catch a pass with his hands. I said, "Wow." I said, "You can do it."
I've been telling y'all that the whole time.
And it looked pretty good. Hey, Deontay, look what happens when you use your hands instead of your body to make a catch.
I've been telling y'all that the whole time, and my stance has always been throughout the whole season, throughout the whole offseason, is he may not be the best wide receiver in the NFL, but he's one of the more talented guys that you're going to get in Charlotte.
Yes, but it was hard to evaluate him at first. It was hard to come
not
around.
hard to evaluate.
It was hard to come around when Bryce was the quarterback of the team. Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
From somebody that wasn't at camp, yes. I understand. From somebody that was at camp, I was saying pay him as soon as I got back in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pay
said
Deontay.
A lot of shit when you got back in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I mean, that's true.
That's
true.
Just circling the fucking dream.
Yeah,
that's true.
But
that's true. Well, that one I was right on.
Well,
I'm gonna stand on that.
And I also think, I know you're saying paying the guys in the middle of the season. Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I almost don't even know just if they will want, because I feel like at a certain point guys want to win. It's okay.
He looked so pathetic, and I say pathetic from a sad emotional standpoint, not pathetic like he looked bad, but he just looked so defeated in the locker room yesterday after the game.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if you have guys to where we can be proactive and offer them a contract in the middle of the season, but I just think we're such a god awful team that I think guys are willing to leave that on the table and continue to increase their value. So it's they could come to Chuba, but it's how tied is he to Carolina? How much does he value actually winning? Because I think that his value does nothing but increase throughout the duration of the season. I also think the downfall can be is that just because somebody comes from Carolina, they're not going to get a lot of, people aren't just going to look at them like one of the best running backs in the league or look at him
Can I stop you? I don't know if his value increases.
Why?
Because Jonathan Brooks is coming back. And I'm under the belief that workload is going down. It may not be the right decision because I don't know. I don't think that that's the right decision because I think he's running so well that you don't want to cut into his workload, and we already don't run the ball enough, in my opinion.
We just don't know, though. We just don't know. I could understand if we seen Jonathan Brooks run in the NFL before. We just don't know. So until that time frame comes to where we can actually evaluate Jonathan Brooks, then I think that Chuba's value will continue to increase. And if it does, it's like, okay, can I go to a much better team and get the same kind of production, but I actually have a shot at playing competitive football with a chance to chase a ring potentially? And I think the same thing could be for Deontay Johnson. If he continues on his trajectory, then I also think it could be the same thing. You could offer him a contract, but at a certain point, he could realize his worth and be like, well, why can't I just go give the same production on a team who is a lot better, who has a chance of winning? I just think the Carolina Panthers are just an organization that people don't want to come to in general.
And you know how you take that away?
Overpay somebody?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that was always that's what's going to happen regardless when you're the Carolina Panthers. If you don't draft your talent, you're going to overpay.
You're going to have to. And to be quite frank, I mean, you can feel however you want to feel about Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, for me personally, is a piece that I may be willing to overpay an additional $2.5, $3 million a year to.
I agree.
Chuba Hubbard is the same way. Even if Jonathan Brooks comes back and runs for 1,000 yards 7 or 8 weeks into the season and he still hits 1,000, I still am under the belief that with the shelf life on a running back that you pay Chuba Hubbard, because this is the best that we've ever seen Chuba Hubbard look. And to be quite frank, with the amount of work that he puts in, I think he only goes up from here.
And what about JC? Because his contract, I mean, you have to make a decision. He falls in that same boat of,
he does.
I mean, we've seen JC, dude, he's been healthy and he's looked like a fucking demon.
You're absolutely right.
He's going to go out in the market and he's going to get a bag regardless if you give it to him or not. I think somebody's going to pay him.
You pay JC, but he's not going to cost as much.
Yeah, because he's a cornerback for one, his injury history for two, and you still have another year regardless.
Yeah, but that's just not a player you want to lose. As far as like what that position looks like, you don't want to lose it.
The difference is, for me personally,
unless you get Trav.
Even if you get Trav, shit. If you get Trav, what's better than one lockdown corner?
Well, you still don't want to lose it, but am I like, okay, come in here talking a little. Hey, come in here talking with a little bit more sense than you could have previously.
Sure. The difference is with JC for me is that we can worry about that in the offseason. I don't want to allow Deontay and Chuba to get to the offseason because I know what will happen if they do. Like, I'm already mentally prepared for what will happen if the deal doesn't get done before the end of the season.
And I know I'll get blamed for that.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I know.
Absolutely. You'll have to wear that for sure. You'll have to wear that because I've been telling you since July 2024 to pay Deontay Johnson.
Because I'm the one that didn't make the decision.
XL. Now we're stuck with XL, Jalen Coker. Shout out to Jalen Coker, by the way. I know I just cut that whole rant off right then, but shout out to Jalen Coker. He been balling.
Don't go try to retract your statement either.
What was my statement?
Because it was a point where you was like, oh, he had the best footwork in training camp, and then you went and slandered his fucking name shortly after. So don't.
No.
Yes, you did, bro.
I slander his name because it was like I'm choosing between TMJ and Jalen Marshall. I mean, between TMJ and Jalen Coker. And at that moment in camp, when I seen TMJ doing the niggas, yeah, unfortunately, Jalen Coker. Yeah,
and you was mad at all of the fans. You was like, y'all just want this nigga.
Yeah, because it's like a fucking cute ass little baby story. Like, cool.
So, like I said, don't try to retract.
No, I am going to retract it, and I'm going to retract it right now. Actually, thank you for reminding me to retract.
Crazy work.
Like I told y'all in the summer, that's number 2 that I've been right about training camp. His footwork is impeccable. He wins and he catches the football, and every time he's had an opportunity, he looked pretty damn good doing it. So. Shout out to Jalen Coker.
It really is.
You undercut your own take, and now you want to walk it back.
It's sad as hell.
Shout out to Jalen Coker. I told you I'm emotional, bro. I feel, you know what I'm saying? I told you I could be killing Dave Canales.
Though that's why it's hard to get with your takes because you just say so much shit. It's just like
it be facts though. In the moment, it be facts.
No, it be emotional. It be emotional facts.
Yeah, it be emotional facts, but facts nevertheless. It be facts. It be facts. Jalen Coker, to me, was not valuable enough to let TMJ go. He wasn't. Now, I understand.
Is he now?
I mean, is he now? Yeah, because TMJ is on a practice squad in San Francisco, and and Jalen Coker has been forced into a position where he has to take live reps. But I'm not under the belief that TMJ wouldn't be going absolutely apeshit with Andy Dalton as his quarterback.
Your boy had his jersey on yesterday.
Yeah, they
That's
were
my dog.
Yeah, I was about to say that's his dog for one. For two, they were on his top about that in the Vegas vlog. I was like, it's
Fuck
okay.
them. I don't give a fuck.
I was like, it's okay, man. We gonna make him upgrade his jersey next offseason.
They ain't gonna make me upgrade shit.
But yeah. I think you have to pay these guys now. You have to pay these guys now, and the reason why I'm not as pressed to pay J.C. Horn is because we have that option. So there's no rush. There's no need to rush, in my opinion. Now, next year, we can get a deal done in the middle of the season should you stay healthy in 2024.
Fortunately for this team, doesn't look like you'll be paying a quarterback anytime soon. So you can do whatever you want.
Well, we weren't going to do that anyway. We wasn't paying. I mean,
you
we
do
were
whatever you want.
We weren't paying Bryce shit.
Well, it would have been next year. It would have given you about 1 to 2 more seasons. I mean, you have the 5th-year option with the first rounder, but the way guys have been demanding contracts early.
If he'd have been playing like a Jaden Daniels is now,
Yeah, you would have had.
you would have had to kick that shit out.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. I'm such a nigga about some of my shit the way I go about it. If I was Jay and if I was
my shit now,
yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I'll probably win 1 or 2 more. I'll go down. Hey, Carolina is coming in here. I'm about to put 50 on them niggas, and my completion percentage is gonna be 92.7. And I'm going to go for 300-plus yards, and I'm going to have 80 rushing. So I'm going to air them out, and then whoever we play that following week, I'm going to air them out, and I'm going to just be like, okay, I think my shit is a little.
I think they play Dallas the week after that. Hey, speaking of Dallas, oh, my God, y'all got a gauntlet coming up after that bye week. I was looking. Yes, Lord.
You know who's in that gauntlet.
Happy birthday to you, Jerry. Fucked us over. I hope you enjoyed that shit, Jerry. I hope you enjoyed that shit on your fucking birthday, you bitch ass nigga. That's what you get for fucking lying and being a deceitful, spiteful, racist ass motherfucker. You gonna piss me off for the last time.
You should have seen him and his pops in the bar.
But what did I say? What did I say at the
I knew he was about to cry.
No, not even close.
Just shaking his head. Like nigga, don't shake your head now.
What did I tell my dad the very first drive of the game when Dak was throwing high? And I was like, this is a problem because I was like, he's throwing high and he looks nervous, and that means we're about to dick off this whole game. Did I not say that after the first drive?
I mean, I could have told you that. Y'all were playing against the Lions.
But it's deeper than that. What's going on in Dallas is deeper than the opponent. That shit is something internal. Like, niggas got to do some soul searching down there. I ain't gonna lie.
Or y'all just sorry.
No.
Have you just thought about that?
Yeah, we are sorry because we don't got no heart. They got to do some soul searching. The talent is there. There's not a lack of talent. There's plenty of talent on that roster still.
I think if we had y'all's defense, we might be 3 or 4 games above 500.
I think our defense might be worse than y'all's right now the way they play.
No, that's not true.
We can't.
No.
How many times did y'all force a punt yesterday? Because I can tell you how many times we did.
I don't know, maybe like
None.
4 times.
None. They had 9 scoring drives. We had 9 points. None. 15 broken tackles.
They broke dick off in them like that.
15
Bro,
broken
you didn't see
tackles.
they had linemen running routes and shit?
They started dicking with us.
They ran
a hook and ladder with Penei Sewell.
It's not even the hook and lateral. They put damn Skipper out there in front of who was number 27 on y'all team.
Oh, fuck.
Put him out wide. Say, you go do what you got to do, nigga.
Tried to let him dunk on the fucking safety. Yeah, bro.
They was out there playing childish games with them niggas.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to lie.
Fucking joke.
The ball that Jared Goff threw in the end zone to the lineman, put that shit right on him. If he wouldn't have been a lineman, he'd have called it.
Snapped it.
But
because he had both hands on it.
Yeah.
He could have brought it down.
They just had him
made a regular safety play.
They did them like that. They did y'all like that.
Yeah, Dan Campbell was out there playing around with him. I'm not going to lie.
That shit was embarrassing, bro. That's why I said they got soul searching to do. And tell me why, and then I'm done with it. I swear I'm done with it. Why in the fuck am I looking at the box score and Zeke is out snapping Rico a week after Rico has his career best game and we win off the back of the running game? Why the report comes out that Zeke is upset about his role within the offense and now magically he gets the most snaps at running back? Piss off. Y'all are a fucking joke. Y'all are a fucking joke of a franchise, wasting everybody's fucking time.
Who did I say was going to win the NFC East at the beginning of the season?
Philly? Or did you say Washington?
Really?
Oh, my fault. You said Washington?
Cool.
Nah, you said
No, we're
Washington.
lying. It's okay. We're lying.
You said Washington. Just because I just felt like you was about to just try to let your nuts hang, but you were right.
He
Washington
keeps
looks
bringing that up. Like, okay, cool.
Washington looks like the team to beat.
Never mind.
But you were only saying that because they had Usum and Jeremy, and you just like
No,
the
there
fact
was
that they had a few
multiple reasons.
Panthers players
No,
down
no,
there.
no. There was multiple reasons. That was a contributing factor, but also the fact that they brought in, Brian Austin Eckler. That was part of it.
They took
also
like
the
8
fact
players
that
from us.
yeah. Also the fact that they had Dan Quinn. Also the fact that guys were actually going to Washington.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cliff
also a
Kingsbury.
beautiful
Also
addition.
the fact that guys were going to Washington specifically for Dan Quinn.
Isn't it crazy
you
how
want
much better-
volunteers, not hostages.
Isn't it crazy how much better Washington's uniforms look now that they're winning?
Drippy.
They do. I be looking at them on TV. I be like, they ain't bad uniforms. They ain't too bad.
They right up the road too.
Are you coming?
I don't
Quick, man. The song only lasts for so long. This is the outro song.
Free Tory.
know. I don't know yet. Debatable.
I'll be in the building in Washington if you see me say what's up. I'll be outside with Rod.
Free Tory. Free Tory. Free Tory.
Carolina Panthers dropped to 1-5. 18-point loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Just they're part of the reason why my hair is falling out. Just letting y'all know.
Key.
Appreciate y'all. Fuck off. What you say? Piss off. Piss off, mate. That was the whitest shit I ever heard you say. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell notification on. We'll be back on Friday for our live. Yeah, so make sure to tune in, turn that bell on so y'all can know when we go live. Catch us outside. Terrence will be there too. We're gonna make it.
The coppers was on corners watching, so we getting ghosts. But it's you on top of my mind when